Okay, I know now how to do this video. Let's do it again. Hi everyone, my name is Roxy and this is another episode of my series USA versus Italy. Dun, dun, dun. In this series, I talk about the differences and the similarities I noticed between these two countries. Of course, it's just my opinion based on my experience. In this episode, I'm gonna talk about food! So, American food versus Italian food. I'm just gonna talk about what I noticed is available here in the US to eat and in Italy. I'm not talking about diets. Not all Americans follow the same diet. Not all Italians follow the same diet. So I'm not talking about diet today. I'm just talking about food availability in Italy and in the US. So let's start with Italy. So Italian cuisine is very ancient and it has a lot of history. So there are so many different recipes, dishes. Each region of Italy has some dishes that are very unique to that city or area, etc. While America is like a new country, so there are some dishes that are typical American dishes. For example, mac and cheese, the apple pie, the pecan pie, tater tots, and stuff like that. But numerically, they are less than Italian dishes. Famous Italian dishes are pasta, pizza, gnocchi, risotto, lasagne, etc. Also, since America is like a mix of so many ethnicities, cultures, etc., here you find a lot of ethnic restaurants that are more traditional. Then there are a lot of fusion restaurants, at least here in California. And the fusion restaurants are a fusion of two or more cuisines. For example, I have a friend who opened an Asian fusion restaurant and he created dishes that are a mix of Filipino cuisine, Korean cuisine, etc. And then there are also evolutions of other cuisines. So for example, the Tex-Mex cuisine, which is an evolution of the Mexican cuisine in Texas. It's very different from the traditional Mexican cuisine and now it has its own identity, so it's kind of like an evolution of it. And the same kind of happened in California, so the Mexican food you find in California is still different than the traditional Mexican food, and the same goes for the California sushi. I talked with some Japanese friends and they told me that here they use ingredients that are not part of the tradition. So for example, here the California roll with the avocado is very, very common, while in Japan they don't really use the avocado. Also here there are so many sauces and different like creams that they put on the sushi they don't use in Japan. But something that was very interesting is that these Japanese friends of mine didn't see the Californian sushi as a bad version of the traditional sushi or an incorrect way to make sushi or an inferior sushi in general. They thought it was just like a different type of sushi. Some of them liked it, like I have a friend, she really enjoyed the avocado in the sushi, the California roll. Others, they maybe prefer the traditional one, but they didn't think it was like a bad version of the traditional sushi. And that was very interesting for me. I liked it. Since Italy has such a long history, it's very proud of its tradition. People are very conservative and they value a lot tradition. So I feel like Italians developed these methods of cooking, and there are certain rules that when I was in Italy I thought they were like universal rules. Then when I went out of Italy I realized that they were just Italian rules, okay? So for example, you cannot put pineapple on the pizza, or you cannot put fish and cheese together, or you cannot mix sweet and savory stuff. And in America, I noticed that there are no rules. I've seen very crazy combinations and I try everything because I'm a very curious person. And some stuff I like, some stuff I don't like, but I always try everything. And for me, it's a lot of fun to discover these weird combinations because I feel like every time I go out to eat, it's like an adventure. Last month or 2 months ago, I went to this restaurant and I saw on the menu mac and cheese pizza. I had to try it. It was a very weird combination in my mind, but when I tried it, I really enjoyed it. I went back with some friends and we got it again and everybody loved it. In Italy, people cook a lot more, I feel. Italians like to cook at home and cook everything or almost everything from scratch. So instead of buying the tomato sauce, usually we start from the tomatoes and the olive oil and we do the whole thing. While in America, well, I live in California, maybe because life is a little bit more frenetic, people tend to eat more out or at least buy some ingredients that are already made. For example, the tomato sauce, okay? Here in LA, a lot of people try to live a healthy lifestyle, so I know people who cook, but maybe numerically, there are more Italians who cook than Americans. I've heard a lot of times saying that American cuisine is like fast foods, and so fast foods ingredients are low quality, so American cuisine is crappy. But I think fast foods are just a type of restaurant. So it's not that American cuisine is fast foods, because you can find in America like good quality restaurants that use good quality ingredients, organic stuff, and you can have a good experience. One thing that I really like of LA and California in general is that they are really mindful of people with allergies or people that are gluten intolerant, lactose intolerant, people who are vegetarians or vegans, and a lot of restaurants have options for everybody. I even saw restaurants with soy-free and nut-free options, and I like this thing because it makes me feel like I'm taken care of or that they care, and it feels very inclusive. So for example, there is this pizzeria close to my house, I always talk about it, and there is the gluten-free crust, the normal crust, the vegan cheese, the normal cheese. There are ingredients for everybody, and I can go there with a group of friends, with vegans, non-vegans, people who are gluten intolerant, lactose intolerant, and we can all eat there. Everybody feels included and has a good time. In Italy, I think things are going better and there are more and more options available, but if I have to compare even a big city in Italy like Rome, Milan, etc. to LA numerically has more options and more restaurants. In fact, a lot of you guys with allergies and intolerances told me in the comments that in Italy they have a hard time sometimes finding options. And the same goes for ethnic restaurants. I know that in the big cities in Italy there are more and more ethnic restaurants, but if I have to compare LA to the cities I visited in Italy, LA has more options right now, in this moment in time. And there are many options in every area. So for example, I think that I like here is that I can eat one time pizza, one time Mexican food, one time Chinese, one time Japanese, and everything is relatively close to my house. And that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what was your experience in these countries. What is your experience in your country? Is it more similar to Italy? Is it more similar to California or the US? Let me know in the comments. Also, let's try to be respectful. We can love a certain cuisine without insulting other cuisines. I feel that everybody is maybe tied to a certain cuisine or the cuisine of their culture, but we can express that without talking badly about other cuisines. And don't judge cuisines without trying them. And that's it. Let me know in the comments if there are other topics you want me to talk about in this series, and see you guys tomorrow. Bye! Mwah!